I think the best place to see it is on social media. If you look at how, now I'm not saying that therapists shouldn't have opinions. Of course they do. Of course we all do. We all have opinions and so on. But it's sometimes how these things are presented. And it's curious, if you ever look at some of the stuff that they put up, I think it's curious that you get some therapists talking about how they hate the word resilience. Well, okay, well, what do you mean? Well, we'll just get rid of it then, or we'll be find a new word? And I'm wondering sometimes, do they even know what resilience is? Do they understand the meaning of it and why that might be important for a client? So there could be something in that. Even a couple of years ago, I remember scrolling through Twitter X and looking at some of the things some therapists were saying. These are UK-based ones. I would never see someone who votes for this party because of X, Y, and Z. And I'm looking at it and thinking, you're saying that you're a person-centered therapist in your little bio, and yet you're not accepting of people. You are being judgmental. The positive regard, they have to earn it from you. Really? So I think it's strange. Now, that being said, I think social media, as good as it is, we have instant communication, we have instant information, and so on. As good as it is, I think social media does have this tendency to maybe bring out the worst in people. And I think that therapists aren't immune to that, even though a lot of them might claim they are super self-aware and all the rest of it. I don't think they're aware of it.
Yeah, I've noticed that from what I've seen on therapist Facebook groups, the Reddit therapist threads. It seems very homogenous, always very left-leaning, and very little tolerance for dissenting ideas.
Yeah.
I've heard a number of therapists say, like I wouldn't treat a Trump supporter, or like I wouldn't want that kind of person to come in my office. You see this, it's like people with certain politics are icky. But if you're really coming from a person-centered perspective, you'd want to help someone regardless, right?
Yeah, it's Rogers talked about those three well, he talked about some, but the three core conditions. You have empathy, you have unconditional positive regard, you're congruent. You're being honest, you're being authentic. As I said, sometimes when you read it's not that people shouldn't have opinions, of course they do, but it's how they're presenting these things that, if this person here is clearly bad, they're not on my side, so it's again, and I wonder if this is a social media thing, or is it just the way the world is going? Everyone's getting pushed into camps, whether you want to be in a camp or not. You're getting pushed into a camp. You're either on my side or you're the enemy. And that's, as I say, therapists aren't even immune to that.